On the final holes of a major, the pressure is absolute. Every drive, every iron, every putt counts. Some players rise to the moment, others crumble in real time. Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth, Adam Scott, Mito Pereira, Phil Mickelson, all have led with control only to watch it slip away in a handful of swings. The mistakes are precise, the margins tiny, the swings unforgiving. One misjudged club, one rushed shot, one bounce in the wrong spot, and the tournament flips. These are the blow-ups that define majors, raw and unfiltered. 1. Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson at the 2006 U.S. Open walked to the 18th tee with the kind of lead that turns pressure into possibility. The sun was dropping low, the gallery lining the fairway, the title within reach. Just one hole stood between him and the U.S. Open. One swing, one putt, one last step to join the history books. He pulled the driver. The swing was confident, the follow-through clean, but the ball launched left. It drifted further than anyone expected, caught the corner of a hospitality tent, and vanished into a tangle of knee-deep rough. His path to the green was gone in an instant. The cheers faded to murmurs. From there, Mickelson didn't play safe. He went for it. A low, screaming 3-iron meant to thread the narrowest of gaps under the trees. For a heartbeat, it looked possible. Then the ball clipped a branch with a sound like breaking kindling. It dropped dead, barely advancing. The crowd groaned. He was still in trouble. He took a wedge, trying to muscle out from sand and grass, and landed on the green. But the ball sat 15 feet from the hole. For Mickelson, that putt distance was usually automatic. He read the break, set his stance, and rolled it past. No damage control, no comeback. The next putt was a chance to salvage a bogey. He missed again. In the space of minutes, a week of perfect control turned into a collapse. Double bogey. The crowd clapped politely, but the sound was thin. The trophy that had been within arm's reach slipped away. When he tapped in, Mickelson didn't celebrate or wave. He stared at the green as if willing it to rewind the last 5 minutes. Then he walked off shoulders set, the roar of the final hole carrying someone else's name. One hole erased 71 others. 2. Colin Montgomerie. Colin Montgomerie stepped onto the 18th tee with his heart still racing. He had just drained a 75-foot birdie on 17. A putt so improbable the crowd's roar had echoed down the fairways. It had pulled him into a tie for the lead. The momentum was his, the energy crackling around him. The 18th was straightforward on paper. A wide fairway, no forced carry, just control and execution. His drive was textbook, straight down the middle, the kind that gives you a clear, perfect look at the flag. The gallery shifted with anticipation. A 7-iron would get him there. He took his stance, swung smoothly, and felt the connection. But something was off. The trajectory was too low, the contact heavy. The ball fell from the sky 20 yards short, swallowed by thick, gnarly rough just off the approach. The look on his face changed instantly. Calm focus giving way to the reality of a grinding par save. The chip needed touch, precision, and nerve. He slid the club under and sent the ball toward the green. It checked up early, leaving a slick 12-foot downhill putt. It was makeable, but dangerous. He stroked it, the ball starting on line, then curling just past the right edge. That left a short bogey putt. It should have been routine. It wasn't. He missed. The double bogey was sealed before he could process it. The shift from contender to runner-up happened in seconds. Montgomerie had been steady all day, his game built on control and discipline. But in the final hole, one misjudged iron, one fraction off, and the U.S. Open slipped away. He walked off the green, not as the champion, but as the man who had come close, so close, only to watch the trophy lifted by someone else. 3. Dustin Johnson. Dustin Johnson came into the final round at the 2010 U.S. Open Pebble Beach with a 3-shot lead. Everything looked under control. The ocean breeze, the narrow fairways, the tricky greens. He had handled them all for 3 days, but on the second hole, disaster struck. His drive veered deep into the left rough. The flop shot barely advanced the ball, leaving a tricky chip still short of the green. He had no choice but to try and salvage it. His third shot skidded past the hole. Triple bogey. Hole 3 offered no relief. His tee shot found a small bunker on the left. From there, he managed to reach the green, but a 12-foot putt slid past. Another bogey. Hole 4 brought a small sigh of relief with par, but hole 5 demanded precision. He went aggressive with the approach, overshot the green, and ended up in heavy rough beyond. Bogey. By now, Johnson's swing was tight, nervous. His tempo quickened, and every shot carried tension. Hole 6, par. Hole 7, par. Hole 8, he drove into left rough again. A weak chip left him short. Another bogey. Confidence drained with every miss, every misjudged lie, every slip in rhythm. By the turn, his 3-shot lead had completely evaporated. Graham McDowell played steady, even par, while Johnson's mistakes piled up, drives into trouble, flop shots that didn't reach, approaches that skipped past, putts that slid by, hole after hole. One mistake fed the next. By the 18th, Johnson's once commanding lead had turned into a mid-pack finish. An 82 on the final card erased all the work he had done earlier. Pebble Beach was ruthless, unforgiving, and Johnson felt every inch of it. 4. Rory McIlroy. Rory McIlroy walked onto the back nine at Augusta 2011 Masters with a 4-shot lead at just 21. The front nine had been steady, controlled, but tension was building quietly, like a storm gathering at the horizon. Hole 10, par 4, changed everything. His drive hooked sharply left, ending up in pine straw among cabins rarely touched by players. From there, he hacked back toward the fairway. The next shot landed in a bunker. 3-putt triple bogey. Just like that, the margin he had built all day vanished. Hole 11, par 4, brought another miss. He failed to reach the green on the approach, and the putt didn't drop. Bogey. Hole 12, the short par 3, became catastrophic. His tee shot splashed into Rays Creek. The drop shot again found water. Double bogey. His lead was gone. Hole 13, par. Hole 14, par. Hole 15, another missed green led to a bogey. Hole 16, approach short, another bogey. Hole 17, par. Hole 18, par. In the span of a few holes, McIlroy went from first place to a tie for 15th. Charles Schwartzel, calm and precise, birdied the last 4 holes to win the green jacket. McIlroy had controlled the tournament for most of the day. Every drive, every approach, every putt seemed under control until the back nine swallowed him. Each mishit, each tiny error, multiplied under pressure, and the lead that seemed untouchable disappeared entirely. 5. Jordan Spieth. At the 2016 Masters Championship, Jordan Spieth had owned Augusta for 3 straight days. From the first tee on Thursday through the turn on Sunday, every swing carried purpose. His iron shots hunted pins, his putter answered every challenge. And after 9 holes in the final round, he held a 5-shot lead. A birdie at the 9th stretched the margin. The green jacket felt inevitable. Then the 10th broke the rhythm. His drive leaked right, settling in rough behind a bunker. The approach barely carried the front trap. The par putt slid past. Bogey. On the 11th, a safe tee shot still left him short of the green. The 20-footer for par missed. Another bogey. At the 12th, Augusta's cruel little par 3, the unraveling accelerated. The first tee shot splashed into Rays Creek. After a drop, he aimed for safety and found the water again. A wedge onto the green left him putting for damage control, but the card showed a quadruple bogey 7. In minutes, the lead was gone. Danny Willett surged past, clean and unshaken. Spieth tried to answer, pars at 13, 14, 15, but Augusta's back nine isn't built for quiet recovery. Missed greens and cautious approaches kept him chasing. The 18th ended with another bogey. What began as a coronation became a collapse centered on one tee shot, one creek, one moment that Augusta never forgives. 6. Adam Scott. In the 2012 Open Championship, Adam Scott reached the 15th tee at Royal Lytham with a 4-shot cushion and 4 holes to play. For 68 holes, he had commanded the course. Tight fairways, deep pot bunkers, swirling winds, all bent to his control. But the closing stretch is designed to squeeze even the smallest mistakes. On 15, his drive pulled left, short of the fairway. The approach spun too much, settling below the hole. 2 putts bogey, led down to 3. The 16th, a long par 3, demanded precision over a guarding bunker. His tee shot came up short, the chip ran past, and the par putt missed. Bogey, lead down to 2. At 17, a slight miss-hit off the tee found sand. The approach left a treacherous downhill putt. Another miss, bogey again, lead gone. Ernie Els was already in the clubhouse at 7 under. The 18th offered a last chance. Conservative tee shot, solid second. But the wedge approach drifted, the chip came up short, and the par putt lipped out. 4 closing bogeys, a final round 75, and the claret jug lifted by someone else. Scott walked off looking not beaten by one big mistake, but by 4 small ones that landed with equal weight. 7. Mito Pereira. At the 2022 PGA Championship, Mito Pereira arrived at the 18th tee with a 1-shot lead. A par would have sealed the win. Southern Hills' final hole is narrow. Water on the right, trouble left, demanding perfect control. Pereira chose driver. The swing was just a touch too quick. The ball drifted right and splashed into the creek. From the drop zone, he tried to recover aggressively. The approach landed short of the green. He chipped on, leaving a long putt for bogey. He missed it, double bogey. The lead evaporated instantly. He fell into a tie for 3rd. Justin Thomas and Will Zalatoris moved into the playoffs. Thomas claimed the trophy. For 71 holes, Pereira had been steady, fending off majors veterans and reading the greens with precision. One quick decision, one slightly overswinging drive, turned everything upside down. The final hole left him off the podium and etched his name alongside the rare players who faltered on the 72nd under the brightest lights. 8. Jean van de Velde. Jean van de Velde reached the 18th tee at Carnoustie in the 1999 Open Championship with a 3-shot lead and history waiting. A safe play would seal the claret jug. Instead, he pulled the shot, sending the ball into deep rough by the grandstands. From there, rather than laying up, he went for the green. The shot struck a rail, bounced across the fairway, and buried in thick grass. Still attacking, he aimed at the green again, but the ball hit the bank and rolled into the berry burn. In one of golf's most surreal sights, Van de Velde waded into the creek, trousers rolled, debating a water shot before taking a drop. His pitch reached the green, but 2 putts later, it was a triple bogey 7. The 3-shot cushion vanished. He entered a playoff with Paul Lawrie and Justin Leonard. Lawrie won. In just minutes, Van de Velde went from certain champion to symbol of self-inflicted collapse, remembered for decisions that turned safe victory into legendary disaster.